Welcome to the chaos. I'm Tracy Canella, and here I am talking for hopefully the last time about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp post verdict. Now, the verdict came down, as you know, last week, and Johnny was awarded $10 million in compensatory damages. And so Amber has to pay him $10 million plus $350,000 for punitive damages. And then Johnny has to pay Amber $2 million for compensatory damages and zero punitive damages. So how is Amber going to get the $8,350,000 she needs to pay Johnny Depp? In this episode, we're going to look at that and some tips and techniques that I might be able to offer as a career counselor, as a counselor, while not giving any counseling advice. So here we go. We're just going to get right into it. Amber, here are your top 10 options, sink or swim. Let's go. The first option for Amber Heard is to go get counseling. Now, she said in her Twitter post that she was very heartbroken, sad, and disappointed. And then also she could get financial counseling because, according to her attorney, she is broke and cannot pay the amount that is due. Granted, I think she has 30 years to pay the $8,350,000 fine to Johnny Depp. But you know what? She's going to have to earn that money. And you know what? As a counselor, I have had clients in similar situations, not with so many zeros in back of them, if you know what I mean, but they've been in financial crisis. They've been in mental health crisis. So I can totally see how Amber can pull this out. But first, I think she needs to go into counseling. What do y'all think? Sink or swim on counseling? Yeah, counseling is always a definite swim. You're going to get some good information. You're going to get validation. You're going to get a lot of really good stuff from counseling. All right, so Amber's option number 2. If she could get a truthful and helpful perspective about what her life is right now. So here's an example of a truthful but not helpful perspective. You lost. Okay, yeah, that's truthful, but it's not helpful, right? And here is an example of one that is helpful, but not truthful. Hey, Amber, you have a great chance at winning an appeal. See what I mean? So in order to put these together, we might have to say something that's truthful and helpful, like, hey, Amber, you have certain talents, strengths, and gifts that you can contribute to this world and earn enough money to pay Johnny what he what you're owing him, right? And that is a truthful and yet helpful perspective. What do you think about that option for Amber Heard? Sink or swim? Yeah, I can't say enough about truthful and helpful perspectives. Remember, you've got to have both, not just one or the other. The third thing that I would suggest to Amber Heard is that she build a support system that is filled with resilience for herself and others. Now, she could go the affirmation route. Not everybody's cup of tea, but apparently it does work in some situations. So something she could tell herself is, I can rise above all the judgments I have from the public. I see potential in myself. I am more than the turd. I can have the last word. What do you think about affirmations for Amber Heard? Sink or swim? Yeah. Really? I kind of like those. You think they were too cheesy? Maybe we can think up other ones. All right. Well, I have other suggestions, so let's just continue. Number 4, Amber can consider what her values are in life. So, from what I've been able to see about Amber, she's all about fun, she's all about beauty, she's all about women's rights, family, music, art, poetry, hairdos, fashion, all that stuff. And so she may be able to consider those values and be able to do something with them so that she can make the money that she needs to make to pay Johnny Depp. What do you think? Sink or swim? Right, and that's good advice for everybody to get connected to their values. Like, why am I here? What do I value? What am I worth? What's meaningful in my life, right? So there you go. Okay, number 5, suggestion for Amber Heard to put all of her options on the table and consider the damage and how to put the pieces of her life back together in all of her life domains. So we're looking at career, emotional, physical, family, social, reputational. And so how do we do this? We just put all options on the table here. So here are some of the options I came up with for Amber Heard. 1, she could file an appeal, and I guess her attorney is suggesting that she's going to do that. What do you think about filing an appeal? Sink or swim? Well, that came back not so great. So there is hope. She can do other things. She can file bankruptcy. Yes, I guess that is true. Anybody can do that, especially if you have a debt that you can't pay and you don't have the income or the income potential for that. What do you think about filing bankruptcy for Amber Heard? I think this is sink because she does have earning potential, and we'll go into that in a little bit. But then there's this other thing that we can put on the table, which is move on. Move on to whatever chapter is next in your life. And so let's see if that is a sink or if that is a swim. Right, it never hurts to move on. Pick up the pieces of your life and move forward. All right, number 6 thing that Amber Heard could do is consider her potential. What is she good at doing? How can she do that in a way that doesn't harm herself or others or the general public, right? Because we do want to help her to use her talents, strengths, and gifts in ways that can benefit and help people and herself. So one of the ideas that I have is that she could start a podcast like we all have, right? And the name of her podcast could be Miss Heard or Pillow Talk. What do y'all think about a podcast with Amber Heard as the host? Sink or swim? Absolutely. If I could start a podcast, so can Amber. She could probably get quite a few more followers than I have as well. That's okay. She could do great. And those are just a couple of different titles. One of the other ideas I had is she could open up her own brand of whiskey. She could say, I'm just going to go ahead and make my mark. And it could be Amber's Mark or Amber Makes Her Mark. And it can be a brand of whiskey. What do you think about that? Sink or swim? Yeah, I suppose that wouldn't be a great idea considering, all the substance abuse allegations that were all against Johnny in court. So that may not be the best idea, but that's one of the things that I came up with myself. How about maybe a non-alcoholic drink? We could call it Amber's Fruit Punch. How about that? Sink or swim? Another sink. I guess it's because it sort of implies violence, right? Amber's Fruit Punch, yeah, okay. And maybe whoever's getting punched could be implied to be a fruit, so let's not go with that. Oh my gosh, the pickings are getting very slim here. All right, what about a book deal? Amber can write a book called Scene, S-C-E-N-E, but not Heard, H-E-A-R-D. She could write about her experiences, her story, her autobiography, and she could make all kinds of money for that. Seen and not heard. Amber Heard writing a book. What is it? Sink or swim? a swim. She could write a book, and it probably would sell, I think. All right. There is another thing I think she could do is that she could tell everybody on a YouTube channel how she does her hair and makeup. Boy, oh boy, she could tell us how to cover bruises. She could tell us how she does all of her different hairstyles that she wore in court. She can do all kinds of things on YouTube with her own YouTube channel. She could even call it You Bruise, You Lose. Something catchy like that. What do you think? Sink or swim? Yeah, and I kind of like that you bruise, you lose sort of a thing because yeah, when you bruise somebody, you lose, right? So then it could actually imply that she is sorry for saying that she didn't punch Johnny, she just hit him, right? Oh my goodness, this is getting awful. All right, so number 7, I was thinking for Amber that maybe she could do a movie. Don't rule out a movie. Maybe do voiceover acting as well, where she can play a really good villain. You know, there are so many people out there who love to hate Amber. And so if she were to play a really good villain, I think she would have a chance. Well, what do you think? Sink or swim? See, I told you there was potential out there for Amber, and we haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet because I think that maybe she could also be, and this is number 8, a mental health awareness spokesperson. She could take all of her mental health testing that she has done and start to talk about mental health issues from a perspective of someone who's struggling. And she could also be getting counseling at the same time. And I think that would be a really super cool thing to offer the public, and people would probably listen. Well, what do y'all think? Sink or swim? I agree. Yes, she could do that, and it would be wonderful. She's got a platform. People know her name now, so she can go out and do that. All right, number 9, maybe she could become an attorney. So her appearance in court, she's dressed to the nines, she knows how to do her hair, she presents very professionally. Heck, maybe she could actually go and get a law degree and go out there. She says she's smart, she learns really great. So what do you think about Amber becoming an attorney? Sink or swim? Yeah. Okay, maybe not such a great idea. Maybe Camille Vasquez would have something to say about that. I don't know. All right. So number 10 is to have an OnlyFans page. She can have her own OnlyFans, and then OnlyFans would be able to see her in various states of dress or undress or talking or whatever she plans to do with OnlyFans. What do you think about OnlyFans? Sink or swim? Well, I think there are plenty of options for Amber in the future. As I have just put out there, she's got potential, she's got talent, strengths, gifts, and I think she has the earning potential to be able to get the money together to pay Johnny Depp without having to go back to trial, without having to make everybody's life miserable, including the viewers and Johnny, and just like leave Johnny alone, right? If she could just, this is number 11, I guess this is a bonus one, be her authentic self, good and kind to herself and others. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't include a little summary about what I think Johnny Depp should do as a career counselor. Here, me, licensed mental health counselor, just some advice or some suggestions about what Johnny Depp can do. Number 1, focus on sobriety. Number 2, focus on music creation, playing in public. Now he's got an album coming out with Jeff Beck. Awesome, awesome things in the future for Johnny Depp. Number 3, maybe he could do a behind the music creation video that we can all see how he creates his music. Number 4, He could go back to movies and being a dark character, maybe star in an independent film where he is the villain. Number 5, he could always go as a guest on podcasts. Like maybe he can get interviewed by Howard Stern, Russell Brand, or Joe Rogan. Anybody would pay to have him on their podcast so he could make some money there. Not like he really has to worry. Number 6, he could do some speaking gigs. Number 7, he could actually increase his hero status by considering clemency toward Amber and saying, hey, it's a wash. As long as you're out of my life, you don't have to pay me. I just don't want to have contact with you. And I think his hero status would just catapult even higher than it is right now. All right. He could also, number 8, write an autobiography. I think a lot of people would be interested in the roles that he's taken, like Edward Scissorhands, like what made you take that role? What's Eating Gilbert Grape? All this other stuff. I would love to read an autobiography by Johnny Depp and narrated by Johnny Depp because I just love Audible books and I love listening to people reading who are the authors. So number 9, Johnny can publish his poems and pictures, his art, like John Lennon did. John Lennon actually published a book called In His Own Right, where he had all of his poetry and some of his artwork on display. It was kind of a coffee table book, and everybody loved it back in the 70s when it came out. So Johnny could do the same thing. I would love that. All right, number 10, Johnny Depp merchandise. And this is where I really believe that Johnny could shine. So here are my ideas for Johnny Depp merch. 1, he could, because he dressed so great for court, and those ties that he wore, I don't know where he got them, but they were pretty sharp. He could create his own brand of neckties, kind of like Jerry Garcia. And when you think about Jerry Garcia also created his own flavor of ice cream. And because Johnny has had his little picture of the ice cream that looks sort of like vomit, possibly Johnny could create a flavor of ice cream that's all of his own. An ice cream flavor such as Grumpy Granola, which would be a mixture of peanut butter, granola, and Baby Ruth bar. I think that sounds awesome. Probably wouldn't look great melted all on your lap, but there we go, Grumpy Granola ice cream. He could also invent a form of Gilbert's grape ice cream. I would love grape ice cream. I don't know if that's actually ever been made. Grape sherbet, maybe? Who knows? He could also have a Caribbean rum dairy-free. Get it? Dairy-free? Maybe not so much. Caribbean rum, though, that sounds pretty good. And finally, my favorite, he could create a brand of ice cream called Busted Finger Parfait. Wouldn't everybody like to have a taste of that, right? All right. Thank you so much for listening to my ideas for Johnny and Amber. Here's hoping that we will never hear from them in the future and that we can go on with our own lives. All of this advice you can take for yourself, and let's just use our talents, strengths, and gifts that we've been given to do good in this world. Thanks for listening. Love y'all, and take care.